But what percentage, I'm going to throw this in also, what percentage of high tech that's mostly in Canada and to the West End or Central, and what percentage of government workers will not be coming back to an office?
Well, that's a good question, and I wish we had Eric Van Wigan on the call with us. Eric is probably the premier office leasing agent in Ottawa, and he's such a gentleman.
We should invite him because he's a great guy.
Yeah, he is.
And he knows about.
So I was just talking to him a few days ago, and I stay in touch on a regular basis with him. I have great admiration for him and his knowledge and expertise and reputation. And he was just saying a few days ago that although it's been pretty, ever since COVID started, it really slowed down. He's quite busy right now. And although there was news last week by another gentleman in the industry saying that landlords are throwing money at tenants, he's saying, well, show me where, because it's not as soft as this other news reporting that was on the national news just last week by this other agent. It's not as soft as that. And actually, he thinks most companies are positioning that, come this summer, or, hopefully once we resolve things with the vaccines, that it'll be very close to what it was before. My personal opinion is I don't fully agree with that. I think that, as a percentage, if I was to guess, I think it, 15 to 20% adjustment, because we've seen firsthand and got used to the habit of doing so much work that we don't have to jump in a car and go to do.
Yeah.
No question, we're all tired of Zooming as we are now, and we're missing interactions. But I find it so convenient that you can resolve so many issues by just let's do it on Zoom instead of driving all over town. I think that will be lasting. I think the whole fundamental values, our core values of family and how we spend our time, is going to be impacted by COVID. How much? That's who knows, but that's why I say 15 to 20% reduction in many of the habits we used to have.
So, yeah. So I've suggested, total guess, that there's going to be 20% of people that never go back to the office, but the highways at rush hour won't be as busy for the next few years, but we're going to catch up at some point. And all the Shopify space that's probably up for lease with Eric or whoever, I believe it's Eric, it's all going to fill up by somebody who's very interested and keen, and there will be people that want to work in the office. But what do I know?
We're comparing residential and commercial, and
we're throwing everything together.
There's a good point to be made on the differences. We were first trying to figure how's our market in residential real estate going to be a year from now. My bet would be that it's safe to say that once the dust settles, the impact on commercial will be greater, will show itself to have been greater. Whereas residential, the metrics are still, or the fundamentals are still strong when you look at the supply side, the growth, the attractiveness of Ottawa compared to other markets in terms of its price point. I'm not, I won't say I'm bullish, but I'm positive about how it's going to go.
For residential.
Yeah.
So this start.
My dog must be
something to say.
The bellman.
He disagrees with me. So you're bullish on real estate, residential real estate, and frankly, I agree. And all this started with are we going up too fast? Would we recommend somebody buy or rent now? And I think personally, my advice, if somebody says I'm coming to Ottawa for 2 years, should I buy or rent? I'd be like, well, I think you should rent if you can find the right place, because 2 years, you don't know what's going to happen. Although if I told them that a year ago, they'd be mad at me now, because they would have paid a higher rent and the places would have gone up a lot. But it's hard to know how hard to push people. So I still deal with first-time buyers. I don't know if you still deal with first-time buyers. very often, but they are getting priced out of everything.
Yeah.
They're going to Quebec if they're comfortable with that, or they're even going further out. Doesn't, you've got to be an extra long commute out of Ottawa for it to make a difference, to a place where the people didn't used to commute to.
It's very tough for them, without a doubt. We talk about COVID and has it gone up too fast? Is it subject to a correction? More than COVID, my biggest concern has been, and even before COVID, is the potential of interest rates going up.
Yeah.
And given now that we've been spending our way out of this as a government and incurring huge deficits, there's a whole economic theory about, it's going to let inflation go, so it eats away at having to repay that debt as far as the strategy for the government, but who knows. However, historically low rates right now, and those that have stretched their necks out to buy, with 2% or less 5-year mortgages, if interest rates go up to 5%, it's more than doubling their payments. And unlike the US, where if you get a 30-year mortgage, it's for 30 years and you're safe, and that's why they keep refinancing.
Yeah.
But here in Canada, 5 years, maybe get 7 sometimes, but that's about it. And then you've got to face a reality, which I think has been a good thing in Canada, because it tempers our decision-making process when we stick our necks out to a mortgage. Yeah. But still, even if you were prudent, if you only got 70%, 65% advance a mortgage against what you bought, if your mortgage payments double come the renewal in 3, 4, 5 years, good luck. It's a big bang on your budget.
Yeah. Well, they keep promising it won't go up, right? Everywhere, but there's a lot of money that's not backed by anything right now.
Yeah. The other thing that I've observed over the years, and the older you get, I guess you get more tempered in your expectations of how crazy things may or may not get. You adopt a I've seen this movie before.